Well, if you're a longtime gospel music fan, you probably remember the Bishops, and if you're any kind of a gospel music fan, you've heard songs by this guy. This is Mark Bishop standing next to me, and Mark, welcome to Gospel Music Today.
I'm very glad to be with you. Have you enjoyed the concert tonight?
This is a wonderful event.
Absolutely. I love singing to the folks in Tulsa. They're well behaved. They don't throw vegetables if you hit a sour note. It's always a good time.
Now, before we say anything about your singing, I want to tell you that one of the first things I read in the Singing News every month is that Mark Bishop column. Where do those ideas come from?
Usually they come from Danny Jones calling me on a Tuesday and saying, "Mark, we need your column." I'll say by when, he'll say by yesterday. And usually I don't spend a lot of time writing the column actually, but they're about common everyday things that we do. I will write a column about sitting on the front porch swing and watching my girls fly June bugs on a string, or going to the local country market to get a ham sandwich and a bag of tater chips, as we call them there in Kentucky. So it's just everyday things that folks can relate to, like you and I.
Now, you were with the family group for a long time, went out as a soloist. Was that a difficult transition or a difficult decision to be able to do that?
It took a little while to get used to, because an ensemble presentation, I sang with my dad and my brother and a couple of fellas in a group called the Bishops for 17 years. And when you're part of an ensemble presentation, you have the ability to kind of tag team against the audience. One person can step up and sing a song or give a testimony while the others stand back and compose themselves and prepare for their turn. When you're a soloist, if they introduce you and you're on stage for 40 minutes or an hour, you have to have everything hitting on all cylinders right off the bat. And if I take a pause to collect my thoughts, well, there's nothing going on. So I'm usually either talking or singing all the way through that whole hour. So it took me a couple of years, actually, I would say, to find that rhythm that I felt comfortable with as a soloist. So it is a different presentation, but now that I'm doing it, I find it quite enjoyable, because I can really listen to the Lord's voice and turn on a dime if I feel like the service needs to go in a different direction. Where with a group, you build up so much momentum that it's hard to get the whole herd turned in the same direction as quickly.
Tell me about the latest Mark Bishop project.
The latest album is really a labor of love for me. Anyone that's familiar with my music knows that I love to tell stories in my songs that take you somewhere. And The Fields of Love is a very unique album in that the entire album tells a longer, larger, more epic story about the characters than can be told in just a 4-minute song. It uses the CD format, uses 13 songs to tell a larger story. So by the time you get to the end of it, you're so much more invested in the characters and the conflict that they're going through. So the resolution of that conflict has just so much of a greater reward, much like when you're watching a movie or reading a good book.
And the songs are great, too.
Well, I appreciate that. My goal was to try to make the songs somewhat self-contained. In a lot of ways, The Fields of Love is like a regular album in that there are fast songs and slow songs and medium songs. But when you listen to them in sequence, where Song 3 leaves off, Song 4 picks the story back up. So by the time you get to the end, you've traveled a great distance.
Well, Mark, we love the songs, we love the writing, and we want to thank you very much for talking to us on Gospel Music Today.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Keep playing that great Southern gospel music.
Now back to more Gospel Music Today.